Spain just won the World Cup. But here's the strange part. They scored the fewest goals of any champion in the tournament's modern history to actually make it happen. So, how does a team win the biggest prize in football, almost without scoring? Was it their possession, their midfield, their pressing, or was Spain's real weapon something almost nobody was talking about? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how Spain became world champions, and why almost every team that played them got the same tactical puzzle wrong. Let's set the stage. Spain arrived at the 2026 World Cup as reigning European champions, having won Euro 2024 and gone unbeaten for well over a year. On paper, they had the most talented squad in the tournament. Rodri, the reigning Ballon d'Or winner, in midfield. Lamine Yamal, still a teenager, already one of the most feared attackers on the planet. And a manager, Luis de la Fuente, who had already proven he could win a major trophy. And yet there was one nagging question. Spain could dominate the ball for long stretches of a match, but could they turn all that control into enough goals against a team that parked 10 players behind the ball? That question followed them into the tournament, and honestly, it followed them all the way to the final. So what did Spain's football actually look like? At its base, this was a 4-3-3. Rodri sat in front of the back four as the lone pivot. Think of him as the player whose only job is to make sure the team never gets caught out of position. Around him, midfielders like Fabian Ruiz and Dani Olmo would drift into the half spaces, the pockets of grass between the opposition's midfield line and defensive line, to receive the ball where defenders struggled to mark them. In possession, Spain would often stretch into what looked more like a 3-2-5, with the fullbacks, Marc Cucurella on the left, Pedro Porro on the right, pushing all the way forward to create overloads, extra attackers against fewer defenders out wide. But here is the part that actually won them the tournament. Spain's coaching staff had one simple, repeated principle. Keep the ball to make the opponent chase you, and the second you lose it, attack the player who just won it before they can even look up. That's called counter-pressing, and it turns defense into an extension of attack. Instead of retreating into a defensive shape, Spain's nearest players would swarm the ball within a few seconds of losing it. The payoff was staggering. Across the entire tournament, Spain allowed fewer high-quality shots per possession than any other team at the World Cup, and they forced turnovers deep in dangerous areas again and again. This was not a team that happened to have a good defense. Spain built their defense out of their attack. None of this works without the right personalities executing it. And Spain's biggest strength here might be the most surprising thing in this whole story. They had no untouchable stars. Pedri, one of the most gifted midfielders alive, was dropped to the bench after the round of 16 because his profile didn't fit what the team needed against physical opponents. Lamine Yamal, a player who at his club is given total freedom to dribble and improvise, spent most of this tournament as a disciplined wide player, tracking back and filling defensive zones rather than freelancing. Rodri was the metronome, dictating rhythm and breaking up counters before they started. Cubarsí, still only a young centre-back, held a calm defensive line alongside veteran Aymeric Laporte. And when Spain needed a spark, it usually didn't come from a starter. It came from the bench, through Mikel Merino or Ferran Torres. This is the core idea. Spain won because the system made every player better, not because one player carried the system. Now let's follow their actual road to the trophy, because every match revealed something new about how this team solved problems. The group stage started with a wobble, a goalless draw against debutants Cape Verde that had pundits questioning them immediately. Spain answered by routing Saudi Arabia 4-0 and edging Uruguay 1-0, topping the group but still without conceding a single goal, a pattern that would define their whole tournament. In the round of 32, Spain beat Austria 3-0, comfortable and clean. But the real tests started in the round of 16 against Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo's final World Cup match. This was a tense, low-scoring, cagey contest. Spain dominated territory and chances, but couldn't find the breakthrough until, in the very last minute of stoppage time, substitute Mikel Merino pounced to score the only goal of the game. It was the first sign that Spain's squad depth and their composure in stoppage time could decide matches that their starters alone couldn't finish. The quarterfinal against Belgium was even tighter, and arguably the most dramatic match of Spain's run. Fabian Ruiz put Spain ahead, Belgium equalized before halftime through Charles de Ketelaere, the only goal Spain would concede in the entire tournament, and the match stayed level deep into the second half. Then, in the 88th minute, a mistake by Belgium's reserve goalkeeper let a long-range effort from young defender Pau Cubarsí squirm loose, and Mikel Merino was there again to finish it off. 2 knockout matches, 2 stoppage time winners, both from substitutes. This was a team that did not break under pressure, and a manager whose substitutions kept paying off. Then came the semi-final against France, and this is where Spain finally showed the rest of the world exactly what they were capable of. Mikel Oyarzabal converted a penalty after Yamal was fouled in the box, and Pedro Porro doubled the lead in the second half after a slick exchange with Dani Olmo. It finished 2-0, but the scoreline undersold the gap. France barely created anything. It was, by several measures, the most complete defensive performance of the whole tournament. France managed only a handful of shots, almost none of them dangerous, and goalkeeper Unai Simon was barely tested. Spain didn't just beat France, they suffocated them. So why was Spain so difficult to play against, no matter the opponent's approach? Think about it from the other team's perspective. If you tried to press Spain high up the pitch, their centre-backs and Rodri were comfortable enough on the ball to play through it, and pushing your team forward just opened space in behind for Spain's front three to exploit. If you sat back and defended deep instead, Spain's patient possession and constant rotation would eventually pull your defensive shape apart, waiting for one gap in the right half space. And if you tried to attack them directly, you ran straight into a defense that was drawing opponents offside more often than almost any other team, because their back line pushed high and trusted their pressing to cover the space behind it. There was no clean tactical answer. Teams that pressed got played through. Teams that sat deep got worn down. Teams that attacked ran into an offside trap and a suffocating press. That brings us to the final, and the strangest opponent puzzle of them all, Lionel Messi and Argentina, the defending champions, going for back-to-back titles. Argentina had gotten here the hard way, grinding through dramatic comebacks against Egypt and England. Spain, by contrast, arrived as the tournament's most dominant, most battle-tested side. The tactical battle was simple to describe and brutal to execute. Rodri's job was to disrupt the platform Argentina built through midfielders Enzo Fernandez and Alexis McAllister, starving Messi of service before he ever touched the ball in space. For 90 minutes, it worked almost perfectly, but Argentina's defense, led by a heroic performance from goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez, held firm too. Spain dominated shots and possession, but couldn't find a way through. Then, in the third minute of stoppage time, Enzo Fernandez committed a reckless tackle on Pau Cubarsí, sending the young defender cartwheeling through the air. It was his second yellow card of the match, and Argentina were down to 10 men heading into extra time. Even a man light, Argentina somehow held on. Martinez made save after save, including a stunning stop on a Yamal free kick, finishing the match with more saves than any goalkeeper in World Cup final history. But in the first minute of the second period of extra time, substitute Ferran Torres pounced on a loose, bouncing ball inside the box and drilled it in off his left foot. That was the only goal of the match. Spain had their second World Cup title, 16 years after their first. So here is the real reason Spain became champions, and it's not one thing. It's the way several things reinforced each other. Their defense was built out of possession and pressing, not just organization, meaning they suffocated teams before those teams could even set up an attack. Their midfield, with Rodri at the center, controlled the rhythm of every single match they played. Their culture had no untouchable stars, which meant the team could bench Pedri or reshape Yamal's role without an ego problem, because every player understood their job existed to serve the collective. Their bench delivered when it mattered most, with Marino and Torres scoring 3 knockout stage goals between them. And when the pressure of stoppage time and extra time arrived, twice in the 90th minute, once in extra time of the final, Spain simply did not blink. Spain didn't win the 2026 World Cup with one moment of magic. They won it by making it almost impossible for anyone to create one.